Ron Rocha, who spoke earlier while the danzantes were getting ready. I don't know if everybody was here then, but he spoke of his history and his family's history, and how his family has been in Texas for so long, and trying to work within the system, and his grandmother and his mother and grandfather and father and relatives founding Roma and other areas in the frontera. And Ron, this is his first. You see the murals here. To me, they're murals. They're on canvas of our people. And this is his first exhibition. And he is a very experienced artist and a very, very good artist. You'll see his murals, and sometimes in different restaurants you go to, and you won't even know it's his artwork. It's a very humble man. Ron Rocha.
I'm very honored to be here today, and especially that the danza is here that has blessed the event. And it's my first exhibit that I've ever had. I'll give you just a little bit of the background that I have. I've been a commercial artist, a cartoonist. I've been an editorial cartoonist. I was the designer of the first topless bars in San Francisco. I was the designer of the first beatnik coffee shop in San Antonio. I've worked with the artists, from the Vatican. My work has appeared on the Sultan of Brunei's plane, and I've done work all over the country. But it's been commercial work, that you have to do to eat, And now I've taken the time to finally sit down and just paint for myself. It's the first time that I've ever had an exhibit of this type. And my motivation for this, when I first got one on the internet, I told myself, I've got to know what I'm talking about when it gets to calendar artwork. And I read the same thing on the internet that the people write about how they became fascinated with this. And I remember I was about 7 years old, and my grandfather had a little grocery and bakery. And I remember the polka music in the background, and the smell of the bread, and the tortillas, but most of all, the Mexican calendar artwork that every year came out with these different fabulous drawings. And the more that I looked into it, I found out that, as I grew up, I admired Norman Rockwell. Well, come to find out that Norman Rockwell copied somebody else. And then when I got to looking into the calendar artwork, the guy that really started to master this was Jesus y la Higuera. But he also had an artist that he copied. So it all goes around, and we take from here and we take from there, and we put it all together. And I was fortunate enough today to notice that somebody took note that there was a monarch butterfly in the paintings. And the monarch butterfly is one of the strongest icons that we have of our race and our culture and our identification. Because the monarch butterfly is born in Michoacan, and it travels from Michoacan into Texas, about this area. They mate and they die here. The following year, they're born here, and they travel to mid-country around Kansas, right up in there, and they mate and they die there. And then the next generation flies into Canada. They mate and they die there. And the fourth generation that has never known a migratory path is born and makes a 2-month trip to a place that they have never seen or known before. So what the scientists did is they took butterflies from where they're born in Canada, and they split them up over the New York area. And they figured, well, they home south and they guide by the sun. Well, it isn't true. Because the ones that take their normal route took the route, and the ones that were headed towards Florida compensated, grouped up with the others, and returned to Michoacan, which is a 4-year cycle. Like the 4 directions and the number 4 that in our indigenous community mean so much to us. The other thing is that I want to make an announcement today because we don't have a lot of time, and I'm just going to say this, and I'll take questions on the paintings that anybody wants to ask. But I want to announce today, and we're not before a large press conference, nothing, but Monday morning the White House will receive an email from Congressman Henry Cuellar, and it has the approval of the Mexican consulate, the mayor of Laredo, and the Mexican business desk at the State Department. I'm proposing a hand in the middle of the river, a sculpture about 35 feet high, between the two international bridges at Laredo. And I'm proposing to put a walkway on the Mexican side that will have a 3-level walkway with walls that will bear all of the names of the multitude of known and unknown that have perished in pursuit of the American dream. On this side of the border, we wish to house a museum that will house all the border history and a monument to all of the immigration officers, Border Patrol and all, who have sacrificed their lives in the line of duty. So we'll find out what happens and how this thing breaks and what momentum it will take. And I'm going to get together with the Catholic Church so that they can email all the churches throughout the country to see if we can start to get support, to get a movement on this. And I have some friends in California, where I spend about 4 months out of the year, who will also start to help out there with the universities and that, so that once that the emails get out, maybe we can get them into support, and this will become a reality. In that proposal, I proposed 4 murals under the bridges that will be of nothing but monarch butterflies. Now, the reason of the monarch is that when the monarch arrives in Michoacan, it arrives to initiate the celebration of the Day of the Dead. And the indigenous people believe that the monarch butterflies carry the spirits of our ancestors. And this is the reason that I've incorporated the monarch butterfly into my paintings, so that the spirit of our ancestors will carry on. And we hope that the poaching of the forest in Michoacan, and that will not endanger the future of the monarch. Now I'll take on any questions.
How long did it take for that painting work to be done?
This one, working steadily.
Yes.
Under a, how would you say? I knew about when we released it, about 1 month. This one over here has taken about 3 years, but it was off and on, an hour here, an hour there. I'd dropped that, for 2-3 months. And this one here took about another month and a half. And what I've tried to do here is do my renditions of the Mexican calendar artwork that the artist did. I didn't copy anybody's work. I did look at some of the things that they did, and I did flip drawings and different things to achieve the same purpose. But the more that I paint, the more that I realize that our indigenous cultures, everything ties in so much, because I didn't find out until this morning watching television. I watch the artists on TV every Saturday morning. That what encompasses a painting is the A shape and the embracing shape of the cups receiving the sun, and then on the other side the balance of it, which encompasses a painting, and the figure of the flow, the soft lines that go through it like the snake. And I'm telling myself, these are things that I've just learned from just sketching and painting, and I'm seeing some of the techniques that have been used. And I realize that because even in the Tai Chi, how many of you do Tai Chi? Anybody? Even in Tai Chi, you pull the tail on the bird, and you encompass the moon, and you turn around, and all of these things, they all tie in with the same movement, motion, and pattern of design that the eye takes in. and the spirit. Because Tai Chi is a very spiritual thing. So I try to encompass all of that in my work. Any other questions?
That one looks like Ramon Vasquez y Sanchez. Is he?
I did that from memory of Antonio without a mustache.
Ah.
Good job.
Look at his profile. But that was just memory, you know. And the other one over here, who I try to use her face because of the angle and the cheeks and the nose, but just from memory, is Claudia. Claudia has that indigenous face. Unlike the artist, Hilguera used his wife as a model who was from Spain. Very dainty features, and he used European features in all his models. And I told myself, if I'm going to paint, I'm going to paint people that look more like us, you know, rather than Europeans. So that's where I'm kind of headed with it. And I've got about 3 more paintings that I'm working on at home. I took some photographs today of some paintings that I'm going to be working on for the photographs that I took here. And then I'm really getting into the artwork with the charros, because I think that that's one of the art forms that we have. And it's a cultural icon also that really hasn't been explored by painters, just like the bullfight posters and all that stuff we get to see. Any other questions?
Are you going to put any of these, like, I guess, reprints out in the public for cultural?
Yes. I'm looking for a photographer now that can photograph these with the light exposures and get them digitized so that I can print them on canvas, because I will not sell any of my paintings. I will sell copies only. I have too many grandchildren. Oh, the other thing is, I want to add this. We can start one strong movement today that can change this country. Is get on the phone and talk to every Mexicano that you know, like I did with my children. All of my grandchildren's birth certificates say Native American. They do not say white. They do not say Mexican, you know. So tell everybody, anybody that you see pregnant on the street, tell them, hey, when he's born, put down Native American. Because we all are Native Americans. The word Mexican comes from the word from the Mexicas, Mexicano, and then the Spaniards pronounce it. It was Mexica, and then the Spaniards pronounced it Mexicano, and then we have the word Mexicano, which is a tribe. So it's a tribal word. That is a Native American identification. And when Cortés first arrived here, he noted in all of his writings that he had encountered the Native American. And our history, I'll just talk about 2 or 3 more minutes and I'll shut it off. Our history is a forest. It is the biggest lie we have ever been told. Because if Cortés arrived with 540 men and impregnated 4 million women the way we're told, it's a lie. That means that everybody sitting here and everybody in the United States today is black because the French invaded Louisiana and all those shores in greater numbers than the Spaniards or the French and mixed with more black women. So that makes everybody who is in the so-called American black.